Welcome back to Up All Night, a late night talk show where we bring you the latest in news, sports, and entertainment here at Calvin University. We're your hosts. I'm Henry.
And I'm Jonathan. A lot of big things happened here at campus at Calvin. Looking at sports, quite the weekend. Calvin Knights setting off to their NCAA tournament, starting with women's volleyball, beating Aurora Spartans 3-1 in their first round of the NCAA Division III, followed by another win over the University of Wisconsin in the second round. However, the Knights fell short to their rivals at Hope College, losing 2-3. It was a well-fought battle and a great performance from our Lady Knights.
Moving on to men's soccer. The Knights took the dub in their first round against Carnegie Mellon, winning 5-0. Very impressive. However, the Knights came up short yet again with a loss to Kenyon in their second round. Congrats to our men's soccer players for a great season. And finally, for our women's soccer, they had quite an unfortunate start, losing in their first round to Carnegie Mellon 0-2. Nonetheless, they had quite the impressive season. Congrats to all our athletes this past week. We fought hard, and the future looks bright.
In other news, this weekend at the men's basketball game, President Wiebe Boer spotted with Boston Celtics player Jaylen Brown. Now, that's something you don't see every day, do you?
That is true. I heard Jaylen Brown is actually cousins with one of the players on the men's team.
You know, now that makes a lot of sense. Maybe Calvin should recruit him.
That would be really nice. Speaking of sports, we have quite the program planned today with the captain of the Calvin men's rugby team. Let's take a look at that.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a very exciting segment here. We have a very exciting guest to introduce, the captain of the men's rugby team here, Ethan.
Welcome.
Welcome, Ethan.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, I don't know a whole lot about rugby. Could you just give us a brief, just quick synopsis of what rugby is?
Yeah, absolutely. So rugby is going to be a classically European sport, but here in America as well. So we're going to be playing with a defense and an offense, of course, that is ever changing throughout the game. There's no clear point where that switches over. The ball can be dropped and picked back up. On offense, we're going to have a back team and then a forward team. The backs are kind of going to be like your receivers, the guys running the ball down the field, catching the big passes, stuff like that. And then the forwards are kind of going to be your guys at the tackle spot, getting the ball out, and trying to make some yardage up just in things called pods. But there are big guys up there in the forwards.
So basically it's a mixture between American football, soccer, but just with no rules.
No rules, yep, basically.
Okay,
basically.
So how do you score in rugby?
So a score would be called a try. It's going to be kind of a lot like football where there's a zone at the two ends of the field where the player, usually the back, one of the receivers is going to run the ball down. If they make their dodges correctly or if they find a gap in the defense, they will bring the ball down and then score a try. And to score a try, you have to take the ball and you have to touch it on the ground inside the try zone or it's a no try. If you get tackled in the try zone and you have the ball and you haven't touched it to the ground, that is a no try too. So you have to touch that ball to the ground.
So from my understanding, to get the ball around, you have to toss it to each other. But there's a specific way to toss it, isn't there?
Yep.
Could you show us how that's done and like just the techniques into going into how to throw it?
Absolutely, yeah. So in rugby, you're going to want to pass the ball backwards. A forwards pass is illegal and will turn into a penalty, which you don't want. That's usually a changing of hands. to the defense. So to pass the ball, you want to be in front of the other player, right? So if Henry were the other player, you want to be in front of him. And then unlike football or really any other throwing sport, you're going to be throwing it underhand. It's kind of like a scoop, we like to call it. And you want a little bit of spin on it to give it some speed, especially if you're making a long pass. And that spin is going to come from the backhand. The forward hand is just kind of a guide for the ball to go through. So that's just a basic pass, just backwards and to Henry and with a little bit of spin on it.
I mean,
Sounds pretty simple.
Yeah. Can I give it a try?
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, you take your hand here, and that's going to spin it, and this is just guides it.
That's
and
what
you're
just
gonna
guide
throw
hand.
it.
Absolutely.
Wow, look at that.
There you go.
Here, you try it.
I'll try.
Beautiful.
Wow.
There you go.
I thought that was pretty good form, don't you?
Yeah, I
so.
definitely do.
You should really try out for the team next year.
We
I think
need
yours
you
is
on
a
it.
little bit better.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I don't know.
So to go along with passing, you pass
Yes.
that back to your players. But
Yes.
then, say you're on the opposite side.
Right.
You're trying to tackle the guys, and you're trying to tackle the guy with the ball.
Yep.
Can you give a demonstration on what that's like and what you have to do, how it's different from other sports and everything like that? We'll give Henry the
Absolutely.
ball, and he'll be our dummy.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Perfect. So on defense, the goal is to stop the other team. There's no first, second, fourth down like in football. There's nothing like that. The only way you're going to stop them and get the ball back is through things like penalties, or if they drop the ball, or after a tackle, if the tackle's cleared, you can pick the ball up as well. But with tackling in rugby, since we're not wearing pads like all the other tackling sports or physical sports, you have to be really safe about it, or it ends up in some bad injuries. Like I broke my nose a few weeks ago. So it can get brutal out there if you're not doing it correctly. So with a tackle, we always teach guys to get low, get your, we like to say cheek to cheek. So you're getting low, you're getting my cheek to Henry's cheek, and then you're gonna wrap, pop up, and then bring him down. That cheek to cheek is really important just because you wanna be pushing the guy that you're tackling away from where your head is, because you don't want like a 250, 300-pound guy just falling flat right on your head, which really, really hurts. And I know that from experience. So
Doesn't sound
rugby tackling is a little more finesse. You kind of pick them up and lay them down, rather than football where you're just trying to hammer them.
Exactly. With football, you're just kind of throwing yourself at people, but with rugby, it's a little more of an art form. So
Sounds like really physical, but also kind of.
It's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to be nice
It's like
to
a
the team.
respectful physical sport.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, this has been really informative.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you came. I learned a lot about this. I might need to go try rugby now.
Absolutely,
I
we'll
think
have
you
you.
should.
Yeah, this is all the time that we have. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Let's
Thanks
take a
for
look
having
at what's
me.
happening next week.
Wow, I can't wait to see more about them.
Yeah, I'm glad that he came and taught us about that.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
Yeah, we just saw a video of lacrosse. Did you know lacrosse also used to be a club team?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they used to be a club team, and then they were made into a varsity team.
Huh.
There's actually another club team right now that's going to be turning into a varsity next year. Do you know what it is? Men's volleyball. I got you there.
Men's volleyball.
Yeah, men's
Hey,
volleyball will actually be a actual varsity team next
That's
spring.
very exciting.
How many
yeah.
other club sports do we have here? We have like 3
I
others.
think there's about 3 others. I could be wrong. Haven't done my research on it.
Yeah, we got
but
men's and women's rugby,
Yep.
and we got
men's volleyball. Right
men's
now,
volleyball. Yep,
which will
and
be
then we got
switching.
men's soccer. Right, I believe they just
believe
finished their
so.
season.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Well,
very
that's all the
exciting.
time that we have for today. Thank you so much for Ethan coming.
Yeah.
I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Henry.
and this has been
Up All Night.
See you guys next week.